Another batch of dough's ready. So, I've got this new loaf tin, which is way larger, way wider, a little bit deeper, which is not being used today, so that I can dump all the dough onto this thing here. Half of this is going to go in this bowl for future use. And I'm going to put some plastic wrap on that, put it in the refrigerator. The other half is going on this tray. So what I've done is I've taken the Keto King dough recipe. I've made some slight changes to it. I'm using the golden flaxseed meal instead of the regular kind. I'm putting a bit of psyllium husk as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to split these into 4 pieces. Roll them up into balls, like so. Handling them as softly as I can so as not to squeeze any air out of them. As subjecting them to a knife has already done that, done a little bit of that. And just put them here. Holy shit, you feel you. Alright, so with a tray of boiling water in the oven here, I'm gonna put the buns in here to rise for a little while. And due to the fact that I've put the other half in the mixing bowl here, I now don't have a mixing bowl to make the burgers with. The burgers with this meat here. So I'm off to the store while that bread rises a little bit to buy another mixing bowl because I need more than one at this point. So it's been about an hour. I'm going to just fish these out. Yep, they are quite a bit larger than they started. Okay, very nice. Pardon the noise of the washing machine down there. I'm doing laundry. What? It's one of my days off. Gotta do my laundry. So, what I will now do is flatten these a bit. Now, I'm sure, apparently there's some kind of spiritual significance to the fact that I'm making like round things on day 108, but for the life of me, I can't figure out what it is. Anyway, I can feel quite a bit of air deflating from these, but hopefully it shouldn't mess things up too much. So I just need... And then what I am then going to do is give each of these a little egg bath with this beaten egg I've got ready. Cover these in eggs, and then I'm going to get them all covered in sesame seeds. Meanwhile, I've got the oven preheated to about 200 degrees, and once it is heated up, I've left a tray of water in there. The intent, I'm told that leaving water in the oven with these will actually make the outside a bit crispier. Sorry, a bit crustier is the word I was looking for. So that's what I'm planning on doing. I couldn't actually find a replacement for that tripod that I broke. When I did the multi-camera setup the other day, I had the broken tripod braced against some stuff in the kitchen. I have since tidied the kitchen and now don't have anything to brace it against, so we're just gonna have to make do with what I have here. So I'm taking a pound of beef mince. So I've gone for one that's 20% fat. Again, because I'm on keto, I want it to be higher in fat, not lower. Fat feeds your brain. Low-fat foods cause you to suffer from depression, exhaustion, and tiredness. So, I'm putting in a bit of pepper, a bit more, I think. Some people don't believe in seasoning your burgers before you make them. I tried this. It's never really worked for me, so I'm just going to season it. Bit of salt, bit of pepper, just a little bit of paprika. I say a little bit, it's quite a bit. And some crushed chilies. I don't like my burgers super spicy. I just like them having a bit of a kick to them. The other stuff going in the burger, I do like to be spicy, which is why I got this hot salsa. The amount of carbs that are going to be in it, I don't know if this is going to focus or not, should be pretty negligible once I actually put this in the burgers that I'm making. And then it is just as simple as a case of getting my hands in there and mix all this shit together. And that's really all there is to it. I mean, for those of you who have never actually hand-made a burger before, this really is how simple it is. I don't do this very often. I wish I did. I would love to do this more often. So, while I'm on keto, it is encouraged. This is a great way to just get some nice, fresh beef in my diet. Some lots of protein and saturated fat, which my body is currently targeting as an energy source. And my brain, your brain, always targets this as an energy source. I mean, there's the reason your brain looks like minced beef, right? Okay, so with that, I'll try and divide this into 4 equal parts. And start rolling them up. Don't even need them to be all that fancy. I'm forgetting something. Dealing with raw meat, red chopping board. There we go. So I'm just gonna do that thing now where you kind of like shape them out into these things like curving up at the edges almost. There's some science behind why you should do that, but I can't remember what it is. Sorry. These aren't exactly the most beautifully uniformly shaped burgers I've ever made, but I'm not actually sure if I've really done the squishing them about part quite enough, but my hands are greasy, which means the fat is already running in them. These may well break apart in the pan. I've got very little experience with these recently. Well, as in 0. All right, here we go. So, step back to avoid the inevitable steam blast. Yep, there you go. And, well, those buns look very much done on the outside. I am not using the recipe I've stolen, sort of, the way it was intended, so there's a good chance these are going to be... Nope, these are way softer than they look to the touch. So, I'm just real quickly going to cut one of these open and see how done they are. You see how easily the knife's just gliding through that? No. Oh, wow. Dude, look at that. Look at that. That is a burger bun. And if the calculations of the recipe I used are correct, each of these is about 4.4 carbs a piece. So, I'm going to get another one of these cut open. I'm going to get some of this halloumi cut up. And I'll see you at the cooker. So, this coconut oil. I made that kebab stuff in it the other day. And it was fine. So, I'm going to continue using this to fry. So I've got the pan heating up real good. I don't need much of this. In fact, yeah, I need very little of this in here. Burgers mostly cook in their own fat. I'm basically just doing this so I don't completely ruin my pan. Oh yeah, listen to that. Simplicity itself. Pieces of halloumi. So I'm going to be doing one of these as a halloumi and salsa burger, and the other one more like just a sort of classic cheese and tomato burger. I don't have burger relish, plus I'm not sure if I'd be able to find a burger relish that was low enough in carbs for my liking. So I'll just be using the low sugar ketchup instead. I haven't done this in so long. No idea what I'm doing. I'm constantly having to sort of like rewash some of the items around the kitchen because the problem with this diet is cooking with this much fat means you end up with fat evaporating all over your kitchen. It's a freaking nightmare, and my extractor fan in my kitchen's not very powerful. I could open windows around the house, but that doesn't really help. That one's falling apart, but the fact that it's falling apart at least gives me the ability to see it's not really cooked inside. That's going to need a bit more time. The halloumi, on the other hand, is cooking up just fine. Alright, final litmus test. We just flip this one over, the one that's broken open slightly. See how good the inside looks? That is looking good. Right. See, like, it broke open a bit there, and so you could just all red inside, and now it is not. So, I think these are about ready. So let's take them off the heat. Turn the cooker off. And see if we can talk this thing into being a little quieter. No, guess not. So, on the bottom of this one, we got some halloumi. Well, all the halloumi. The rest of it. We got one of these burgers on here. Bang. And some of the salsa. So this one's going to be a salsa burger. This is basically the tapas burger for one of my local takeaways. Just shamelessly aped. I only need to put a little bit of the salsa on this because it's only a little bun. A big ass burger. I'm going to put a few of these little skinny slices of German smoked cheese on it. Which one of these is the bottom? That one. And guess some of this, no added sugar ketchup. I won't even be putting 15 grams of it. That will be more than enough. And there we go. Put this on here. And ready. And with that, hang on, see if I can just frame this. There we go. Keto burgers. I can't freaking wait. Alright, so one thing I can take away from this is there was absolutely no need for me to put any of that coconut oil in the pan. But Let's see what it's done to the flavor. Well, probably nothing. So, first the tapas burger. Oh, God. Oh, holy crap, that's gone everywhere. All right, I'm probably gonna need both hands to eat these, but all I can say is that's a massive freaking success right there. Other than the fact that the salsa everywhere, don't care. I'll clean it up in a moment. But there we go. That is keto-friendly burgers and buns. So each of these buns is supposed to be about 4.4 net carbs each. The cheeses add negligible amounts of carbs, not even worth considering. As for the ketchup and the salsa, I reckon I've probably added maybe 1 or 2 or more grams of carbs to this meal. And then, of course, the burgers and the cheese just add a ton of saturated fat and protein, which is what we want. So, I'm going to properly tuck into these, and I will see you soon. Yo, I wasn't planning on shooting a part 2 for today, but this is a little experimental cheesecake I made. On the top is just those macerated strawberries thrown in the blender. The cream cheese filling is adapted from the recipe made by Low Carb Love. And the base is actually the 0-calorie Oreo recipe, which I've also linked in the description. I'm sorry, I can't remember the uploader's name. Now, I did something a bit wrong making the cookies that made up the base, in that they kind of came out of my oven feeling like I was chewing on wet cotton. But once I then threw that in the blender and blended in some melted butter, well, then that actually made a good cheesecake base. So all's well that ends well, right? Anyway, I'm going to keep digging into this because this has turned out way better than I thought it would. Mmm. Mmm.